Alright guys, Epic fucking Slayers here and welcome to today's video. In this one we're going to talk about the Division 2 London's Calling, which isn't the official name for the Division 2 and we don't even know if the Division 2 will be made. But it's something I've seen twice on Reddit once and I've seen it on an article and I thought, wow, what a great name. And as I've not discussed Division 2 before on my channel, I thought, why not? Let's talk about it, guys. So please leave your comments in the comment section below of what you guys want to see in the Division 2. And in this one, I'm going to talk about what I want to see in the Division 2. If you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Please turn on notifications, and if you can, guys, then share it with all your friends. That would be much appreciated. With that said, let's talk about the Division 2. So guys, there's no script here, I'm kind of just going to go from memory. Now, a little while ago, there was a survey on the Division Reddit which asked what we'd like to see in the Division 2 or in future updates, and it included different types of cities, and I believe London was on that one. Now, me personally, being from the UK, I would love to see the Division move to London, you know, the infection spread to London, maybe have zombies, I don't know, I'm just crazy ideas coming here, guys, but I would love to see that progression from, say, the United States, from where it currently is, to, say, the UK, and then maybe if that's popular, then move it to somewhere else. Now, I get, and I completely understand, a lot of people will be saying that they need to fix this game, and they're likely not going to pick up the Division 2 based on how well this game's done. Now, let's not forget this game was absolutely massive out of launch. The first 0 to 30 levels were absolutely fine, and when we got to the 30 level mark, unfortunately the game kind of fell off. We didn't really have an end game, which is a real big problem. There's a lot of bug issues, and although Massive have been forthcoming in their issues, and along with like the PTS and the ETF, they have been trying to get the community's help. Unfortunately, the game has kind of died, although I wouldn't say it's dead at all. I would just say that it's not reached nearly the potential that I was expecting from the game when it first got released. So I would say the biggest issue for the Division 2 would be getting the balancing right. Now, I don't care if it takes them 5 or 10 years to make the Division 2. I will happily wait for the Division 2 if I know what's going to come out will be an amazing product. Now, again, what they need to sort out is balancing. The game at the moment is currently just, it's too overcomplicated. There's too many different types of skills. There's too many different types of attributes, minor, major. It really is just a complete mess. And because everything conflicts with each other, that's what causes these bugs. Really, they just need to simplify it down a little bit, you know, have set classes that have set abilities, and there's no need to have, for example, 4 different types of pulse, or 3 different types of pulse, 3 different types of ballistic shield. Just have one. You know, if you're running this particular character, then you have pulse. If you're running this character, then you have first aid. Whatever the case may be, they need to simplify it, and that just means that the bugs themselves will naturally just be reduced, and the game itself should be much easier to balance. The second thing that I'd like to see in the Division 2, I would say, is the variety of weapons at the moment. There is a lot of them, but a lot of them are not used. Unfortunately, in every game there will be a meta. Let's look at Destiny right now. There was the meta of shotguns. Now it's kind of, you're looking at sidearms and the Warlock melee. There's always going to be a meta, and unfortunately that's just the way it will be. I would say at the moment the Division is at the best place it could possibly be for balance, apart from fucking Seekers, as we know, AIDS mines as I like to call them. And I'm saying that the game at the moment is in a very good place for balance. Now, weapons-wise, there's a load of weapons that I've covered in my Fuck the Meta series that just really are useless. There's a lot of talents that are useless, like Ambusher, for example, on the UMP or the USC. The game, you know, that gives you 10% extra damage to people who are in cover. No one's in fucking cover. Let's be honest. No one is in cover. Not really. The only time you might be in cover if you're using a sniper, for example, and then really you move out of cover to get away from people who are running at you. So really that talent's wasted. And there's a lot of other talents in the game which really just aren't nearly as good as some of the other talents, or really are useless. Unfortunately, Brutal, for example, isn't really effective anymore, just because of how they've changed the headshot and the body shot modifiers. And again, that was a big change I didn't really agree with. So number 2 for me would be, yes, have weapons in the game, but maybe lower the variety, or at least make all of them. I know they're not going to be able to make all of them, but at least make most of them useful. Whereas at the moment there's probably 1 or 2 submachine guns, 1 or 2 sort of LMGs, 1 or 2 assault rifles that you really are going to go to as meta weapons if you want to get the best results. So I would say that's probably number 2 on my list. So for number 3 on my list, I want to talk about PvE and PvP in the Division. Now, I thought the Dark Zone was a great idea. It was somewhat innovative. It's not something I've really seen in any other game. The idea of merging PvE and PvP combined I thought was a really good idea, but actually, in fact, when we put it together, it really didn't work. For some time now, we've been calling for both a PvE Dark Zone and a PvP Dark Zone, and they kind of tried to do that with the latest update by extending the Dark Zone for an extra 3 areas, making the map actually twice as big, but keeping the same amount of players in there, so it was less likely you'd come across other players. And I thought that was a good idea, but again, there's still those people out there who'd rather just go into the dark zone, not have to kill anyone, but who likes that environment. And maybe they should have like a dark zone for everywhere. I don't know. But I would say that PvP and PvE at the moment is a bit of a problem. Every change you make to PvP affects PvE, and every change you make for PvE affects PvP. Unfortunately, most of the changes are being made to PvP, which is affecting PvE. And really, they're not being thought about too much. It would be nice to have them completely separate. So say, for example, this change is implemented for PvP to this weapon, but that change doesn't affect that weapon if it's used in PvE. I don't know how easy that is to do. And I assume it's not easy, because I imagine they would have probably done it already. It's been asked for a very long time. But for me, they need to separate PvE from PvP. That's a really big problem in this game. I think one of the main issues that people stopped playing the game was due to that. They really didn't want it, especially Dark Zone. They really didn't want to go into the Dark Zone and actually kill other players. They just wanted to PvE, and I get it, it's the Dark Zone. I'm completely with all the guys that say, look, it's the Dark Zone, it's meant to be horrible. I get that, but there wasn't really many activities apart from missions outside of the Dark Zone. There was certainly no place that gave you that atmosphere the Dark Zone gives you, that very dark, grungy atmosphere outside of the Dark Zone. The Light Zone is far too big for the amount of NPCs in it. There's so much sort of area there that's just not being fucking used. They really need to fill that up with NPCs, add more sort of Light Zone rewards or activities, because the game at the moment doesn't have that, and I would love to see that in the Division 2. If they're going to have a Light Zone, Dark Zone situation, then I would definitely say that in the Light Zone it needs to be more populated, there needs to be more activities to give those players who don't want to go into the Dark Zone something to do, or at least add a PvE Dark Zone and a PvP Dark Zone. But ultimately, they really need to sort out the balance between PvP and PvE, and I really think that PvE VP should not be used. Number 4 on the list is when the Division 2 finally is released, if it's released of course, then I really hope they add something like Last Stand that we've got in the Division 1 at the moment from day one. They really need to have something like Last Stand from day one, maybe Team Deathmatch, Domination, which is kind of what they have now. I really like the normalization, because I find that a lot more people are using completely different weapons that are against the meta outside of Last Stand, and having a lot of fun with it. So that's good. Again, they need to balance some stuff, which I've already talked about, but they need to have somewhat more I wouldn't say competitive, but somewhat like Last Stand. For me personally, I play Last Stand a lot. If you watch my channel, you already know that. But I would love to see more maps. Some of the maps are shit as well. More maps, and certainly, sort of just more modes. Because at the moment, it's just domination, effectively. I'd love to see a team deathmatch, you know, anything, capture the flag. I don't know what they could have in the game, but they need to really look at the PvP side of things regarding that and sort that out, because I think that's, again, is another big issue. The game itself, I don't know what the stats are, but I would say that personally, I would say 70% of people play PvP, 30% PvE. So you've got to cater more to the PvP side, simply because that will keep or retain the largest part of your audience. As a business, what you don't want is someone buying your game and then going away within a week. You want retention. That's what you want as a business, and then, you know, Ubisoft are a business. They want retention, so they really do need to cater to the majority of their audience. So they need to balance PvP, and they need to add more modes. At the moment, Last Stand, you know, you've got 3 maps or 4 maps, and I'm not sure what it is. One of the maps is completely fucking horrible, with the stadium in the middle. That's really bad. And again, the maps as well are just far too big, in my opinion. So I will just say that if we are going to get a Division 2 and they are going to add like Last Stand or Team Deathmatch, they need to reduce the map size as well, maybe to 2/3 of what it is, maybe even more than that, I don't know, but they need to reduce it, because at the moment it's a lot of running, and then you get there, you're killed by Seekers, you spawn and you've got to run all the way back again, and it's fucking AIDS. That's all I've got to say about that. There you go, guys, that's sort of my main 4 sort of ideas or what needs to be changed for the Division 2 if they are going to release the Division 2. There's a lot more that I could talk about, but I don't want the video to go on for years. Now, what I do want to see, guys, is your comments in the comment section below. What do you want to see in the Division 2? If the Division 2 was announced right now and they said, look, it's going to be a 5-year life cycle, it's going to take us 5 years to make, would you be happy about that, or would you prefer it in a year? Me, personally, if it's going to take 5 years to make an amazing game, then it needs to take 5 years. Unfortunately, the Division 1 actually took quite a while. It was backdated quite a lot. And again, it had its problems, but I would say that it's slowly getting better, but there's still a lot of bugs. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to see in the Division 2. What do you not like about this game at the moment? What do you like about this game at the moment? And what could they have done better? Who knows? I do want to see your guys comment in the comment section below. That would be much appreciated. And thank you all much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.